This video, where we're going to be talking about the supposed sea of energy, what Tesla was talking about. You know, we're living in a sea of energy. And I know about that for probably 15, 20, 25 years, reading about Tesla and you know, and when he says we're living in a sea of energy where, you know, it's all around us, and I didn't quite get, I thought he was speaking in a metaphor ways. We're living in a sea of energy. And then I would say about a month and a half, I just realized fucker was not talking about metaphor. He was talking about the real sea of energy. It exists. It's real. It's all around you. It's what that's what your light turns on. That's what he used. And he never said the word generator. That's another thing that's been added to Tesla on his information. He never used the word generator, because you cannot create energy. You cannot destroy energy. So if you cannot create energy, if you cannot destroy energy, and a creation, so a generator cannot make energy. If you cannot create energy, it's already there. So now I go back to when you say the sea, you know, the energy works like water. And so far I realize current is the direction of the flow. You know, it makes sense now. It works like water, literally to the word. So if I want to tap into the sea of energy, I have to do the same thing if I'm tapping into a sea, the ocean, and I want to bring some water out of it, right? So, I mean, you can always bring the water to you if you dig a canal and irrigation and all that, right? But going up a mountain with that sea water, you know, if you can bring it up there if you bucket it and pack it up yourself, or donkeys or whatever, right? Slave. But if you want to do it mechanically, which that's what Tesla came in the picture. He was a brilliant engineer of mechanical device, and he had a mechanical mind, and he had a deep way to think. He could go inside his head and make everything works, which is kind of crazy because that's what I do. So if we need a mechanical thing to bring this energy to be able to manipulate, just like the water up a thing. So if I want to pump water up a mountain, I have to put a pump, some type of device, mechanical device, to be able to bring the water up the hill into where I want it. And then to get pressure into it, I have to put a pump again, so I can manipulate the pressure, I can manipulate the water the way I wanted to use it. Well, it's exactly the same goddamn way we do with energy. You can't manufacture energy, so you have to pump it in. So you have to create a pump. Now, how the pump works? Everybody knows about my voodoo machine. You know, the effect of the voodoo machine, you know, makes everybody, oh, ooh, ee, right? Ahs to what the effects are. But no one really understands why those effects appear. And now I got to understand this. My little voodoo machine, you know, I mean, one time I called it an electron pump, but it would be stupid since the electrons do not move. They create mass. Then I call it a generator because that's what we grew up with. We generator make, you know, energy for lighting up and using tools and stuff like this. So, you know, it was always into the part of it. So what I want to explain now is You cannot make, generators do not exist. Literally. Even the cheapest generator you buy, you know, in Canadian Tire or Lowe's or Walmart or whatever, they have the wrong name on it. They're not a generator. They don't generate anything. They're just a pump. Right? When you pump water, the water pump make the water? No. It pumps it. You can manage it. That's all it is. Management of a type of energy. Water is energy, so is that. It's all around you. And resonance is all around you. Resonance, what made this pen fall down here. It resonates at a certain level, it will give them gravity. If you remove or increase the resonance of this pen, as we know, by voltage, very high voltage, which voltage is a volume of resonance, this pen would be levitated. Like we do with little tests, we can make things goes up by inducing a massive amount of volt into a coil, and the coil will levitate. Aluminum foil, high voltage, it levitates, right? And it is part of a propulsion system also. So now we know voltage means volume, nothing else. Higher the volt you can create is a volume of resonance. And then when you have your pump or the generator you're talking, like a power plant, right? A hydro plant, is very simple. You know, I talk to people now. So far now, it's 3 I talked to. They were working in power plant. One in Dubai, an old man. One here in the States, David, and another guy, in Toronto. And they contacted me and he said everything I say about power plant, the way it works, I'm absolutely right. They were kind of a, you know. He said, do you ever study about power plant? I said, no, I walk up the line to figure it out. Walking up the line, that's mean, you know, try to figure out what comes out of your outlet, what type of energy is coming out of the outlet, and what type of energy is bring to the pole transformer. Since I found out 3 years ago, a pole transformer is actually a wireless transfer of energy, and it also manipulates that energy. It transforms, or it's just like a mutation. It's a single wire coming up from the high voltage. It's not connected to anything else. You just sit there and you transmit. It's a transmitting antenna will go through a layer of insulation and start hitting those plates, which is your X1, X2, and X3. Well, X1, X2, right, is your tap. Oh, they call that tap. That's not something interesting, right? What comes out of a tap? Water. You know, it's right in front of our face. By changing the word, if I call that a straw, if I change the name of this pen and call that a straw and everybody knows a straw, and then I ask for a pen, you won't see that pen there because you're looking for a straw. You make things disappear by changing the word, changing the meaning of the word, the meaning of the object. And that's what they've been using. You know, you have to understand, Tesla wanted to give that to the world, and he literally was prisoner to the US government for 20 some years. If you look at the research of Tesla, you will see it all the way up to Niagara Falls, and but after Niagara Falls was over, Tesla disappeared. And then he appeared a while later, a long while later, and now suddenly he's an old man, you know, all skinny and stuff like this, in his last years of living. Where has he been? Prisoner of the United States government. He worked for them, you know, all the way up to prior to the big test with what do you call it, the Philadelphia experiment. Now, Tesla was dead at the experiment of Philadelphia. But guess who took his place? The thief, right? Mr. Einstein. He took over his work. And he said, everybody said, the first tests of the Philadelphia experiment, it killed so many people on the ship. On the ship they make disappear. That was not Tesla. Tesla was dead. Tesla died about 5 or 6 years before the first test of Philadelphia experiment ever did it. So if anybody killed people in the Philadelphia experiment, it was Einstein. And it also, Einstein was there, Faraday was there, and Lenz was there. They all three worked on Tesla's work to make that working. So anyway, that's just a little bits of information of history. People don't really know about it, and it's there. You can read about it. You just have to look at that. You know, first thing you have to get out your ass, get that ass out of that couch, and put that beer and that pizza away, turn the TV off, and do some research, right? Not in Wikipedia. I don't do my research in Wikipedia because it's garbage. It's false. 80% of Wikipedia is false. Literally false. It's a lie. So, but if you want to do some real research, like I've been doing for almost 4 years, and I spent so far probably about $250,000 plus, you know, they could live a few thousand. Then you will find out all the bullshit they're telling you makes no sense. And then when you bring the expert to you and you show him the testing, we're running the unit and we're showing what's coming out of it, they cannot explain that. But they're the expert. You know, well, I find out they are the expert. They are the expert of bullshit and lie. That's all expert they are. Most of those people are supposed to be very intelligent, right? Most of those people can't even change a flat tire on a car. And those are the people we have to listen to learn stuff? Pretty disappointing. If you want to learn something. If you just want to bullshit, you know, your whole life and the world around you, then you can go to school and learn all that bullshit. That's all they're going to teach you, bullshit. And how to make money with bullshit, right? But anyway, going back to the fact of energy, if you don't understand how the power plant create energy and transmit this energy, then you have nothing. You have absolutely nothing. You don't understand a damn thing about nothing. It's just a lack of want to understand. People don't understand. I mean, they don't want to put the time in it because either they don't care or they just don't have the time because they're too busy trying to pay the bills. Because that's what 99% of the population is doing. They're on a little hamster wheels and they have a little break at night time. They go to sleep, they get up, they go back to the hamster wheel, spin the wheels all day long, and then go back again, have a sleep, and go back in the wheel and do that over and over. And then that little, in the end of the year, that little hamster's got 2 weeks of paid vacation, which the money they give you for all you spinning the wheels, giving it to you, doesn't stay to you. It gets siphoned from the other side back into their pocket. So if you want to really have energy, you don't have to build a big power plant. You can build a small power plant. I mean, I'm not. I just moved. I moved to another place here, and I'm gonna take me probably to Christmas or after Christmas to set up again the lab. But now I have the understanding. I mean, as many people have partial understanding. John Hutchison, brilliant man. I mean, brilliant man. He does effect. He creates effect beyond human mind comprehension. But he cannot explain why it happened. And the only reason he cannot explain why it happened, because he have a lack of understanding about how resonance works. Because the way the world tell you how resonance works is music. That's all resonance. Wrong. It starts with resonance, but that's not what you hear. What you hear is sine wave. There ain't no resonance in there. They convert the resonance to sine wave, square wave, whatever you want to what. It's a fucking attached. It's a broken line attached, but it doesn't have space in between. So resonance is the most probably powerful energy in this planet, because it controls everything around you. Everybody says, oh, I don't know what's controlling gravity. I don't know what's controlling gravity. I don't know what's controlling gravity. Resonance does. Resonance, your body resonates. I mean, a dead stick, a dead cricket resonates different than a live cricket. A fresh, broken branch resonates different than a dry twig, dead twig beside it. They have a different resonance. Resonance works with density. And some density works better, some density works worse. It's not as good. For example, a violin is a very, very good example. I was thinking about what's the best, the violin. What happened is you stroking with a resin, and they use horsehair in the old days. I don't know if they're still using it, probably not, or artificial horsehair or whatever, but that's what they were making their bow, right? And what it was happening is the horsehair is really greedy. I mean, like really, really, if you look at it under a microscope, it's really rough, really, really rough. It's almost like a file, literally. And what happened is, it grabbed the cord. It's just like grab the cord and let go. Grab the cord and let go, right? So what is happening is, it creates a sine wave, which you can't hear yet, because it's minuscule. It creates a sine wave, and that sine wave, is carried into the string and go into the violin. Now everybody say, oh, it goes into the hollow part. No, not yet. We're not there yet. It goes into the wood, the material, because now you have a sine wave, and you have to remove the sine wave, or you have to amplify the sine wave so people can hear it. So the sine wave goes and enters the material, which is called the wood. And the wood, what it does, it mutates that sine wave and amplify it. And then when it comes through the other side of that thin skin of wood, right, it is way louder. That's why a high, let's say a violin, like what do you call those? They're priceless. They sound so good and so loud, and they can hear the sound so far away, is because the wood in those days was old growth wood, and it was really, really hard, and it had a good transfer, a good amplification. Same thing with the guitar. A $100 guitar, you can hear the sound 5, 6 feet, 10 feet away, and then it diminishes. If you have a very good guitar that $1,000, $2,000 acoustic guitar, you're playing the same sound at the same note and everything up, you can hear that guitar for half a mile. Wow. Right? That's amazing. Two guitar, one is cheap construction, cheap material, and one have a better material and it perform better. Amazing, isn't it? Right? So, you know, this is why we have to understand this, you know, how to tap into this thing. We need a pump because it works like water. You know, you can't use a generator, right, to suck water. You got to take, you know, you're going to get a generator to run a pump, the pump to suck the water. The pump is the one who's doing the work to suck the water, right? We have to do the same thing with resonance. We have to pump it in. Then we can pump it in, it will create a sine wave. Not just one, a double sine wave. And the sine is all over the world, right? And medicine, what they have, the sword and the two snake going in two different directions, left and right. That's a sine wave. That's the true sine wave of a pump, a device, a mechanical device, will attract the resonance and convert it into a sine, to a double sine wave, left and right. Because when you spin something, right, doesn't matter if it's just a shaft, and you spin it, you will create two vortices, one clockwise, one counterclockwise. And it will create a funnel, which is an impedant vortex. It sucks energy in a two different directions. That's why when you have a, we call generator, because it's not generator, but again, when you're spinning a magnet, right, you have a double sine wave in the coil. So now we know how to create a sine wave with resonance. Now, but this is a wild thing. It cannot be manipulated easy because the energy is not that much. But a month and a half ago, I know where the energy is. It's in a sine wave. And to release the energy, you have to remove the sine wave. For example, my voodoo machine, if I don't remove the sine wave, I get very little volt coming out of the bit. When I remove the sine wave, the volt just explodes. You remember, volt is not what you think it is. Volt means volume. A volume of something. Because, you know, that's what it is. When someone's want to connect a motor to something, I'm going to ask them a volume question. I'm going to ask them, what's the voltage of your motor? The operation voltage. I'm asking a question of volume. It's all about volume. Volt means volume. So, if we remove the sine wave, the volume stays there. But it amplified. It magnified. That's the magnification and the amplification of Tesla. Magnification and amplification has got nothing to do with a step-up transformer. It has to happen before. Magnification and amplification is the removing of the sine wave of a high voltage current. Or high voltage, yeah, I guess so, current, because it's got a flow. Right? And then now you're going to end up with high voltage, no sine wave. Very, very nasty stuff. Very hard to control. It's wild. It's hot. You touch the sucker, it vaporizes. That's why people getting vaporized in the line. I saw one guy get vaporizing in the front of, when I was 14 years old, in the front on the military microwave tower. He came down just like a dead leaf. He was cleaning, he was testing, they were testing the microwave tower, and he was cleaning up to make sure there was no debris or any contamination on the dish. And the guy downstairs, you know, gave the go to push the power into it. And he was cleaning the dish. He got every single, all the water of his body, which is 80% of water of his body, was totally removed of his body, just like this, vaporized. The solid, the bone, and whatever, skin and tissue, it was nothing there. The guy with his boots barely weighed about 15, 18 pounds. Amazing. A little shocking, but amazing at the same time. So now you have to be able to manipulate this nasty little guy, because he's hot. He will do all kinds of stuff to you, right? So what we do, we're gonna do it is they're gonna put a cycle to it. But a cycle is a slash. Okay, when I say slash, I mean one cut. When you do a cycling, that means you keep on cutting, but it's got a timing into it, which will be cut, non-cut, cut, non-cut, cut, non-cut. And what that created with this power is you're compressing your energy. Now you're putting compression into it because it's coming constantly, and you stop it, it builds pressure, and then you release it. And then you stop it again, build pressure, and release it. And that's how you can transmit in a transmission line. Right? You have to understand that the word, I can make this pen disappear for all the stupid out there by changing the word out of it. All the line coming up, you have high voltage transmission line and low voltage transmission line. All the way up to the, go across your house there, my house and everybody's house, right? Or underground, whatever. It's high voltage, it's transmission line. Till you hit your transformer. Soon it comes out of transformer. Now you can call it AC currents, because it's not a slash anymore. It's a sine wave, because that's what the transformer does. It takes this wild, crazy stuff, and it will convert it to a sine wave. And how it does that is, because that's RF on a wire, not radio frequency, resonance frequency, or, you know, resonance transmission. And then the pole transformer transmit that, because the high voltage going on a transformer, right? That's called that, you know, your horn, your high voltage horn. You put your 14,000 volt into your transformer, and you get connected to this tiny little wire inside. This big wire goes in. Oh my God, there's a lot of power, there's a lot of amp, right? It's no amp at all in a transmission line. It's no such a thing as an amp yet. It's not manufactured yet. The transformer manufacture your amp, not the pole, not the transmission line. Not the high voltage. The transformer create amp. He's the manufacturer of AC, right? And that's why I have a problem. When people own their own transformer, what the fuck they're paying for watts? They already bought the unit who makes the AC. Why are you paying for AC when you own the machine who convert the high voltage to AC, right? You should be paying for potential, not watts. But they were not smart enough. They could not figure a way how to calculate the potential, because it's too dangerous to play with. It's very wild. It's a wild creature. It jumped all over the place. That's why all my experiments is all high voltage, and we try to figure out why we have all those phenomena going on around us when we're working with high voltage. Right? And I'm not the only one to say that. I had probably about 100 some people coming through and visit me and stuff like this, and they all, huh? Right? What's going on here? They don't know. And some they're engineer. I mean, I had physicists, I had scientists came out and see me, and they all said the same thing. How can it be possible? Well, you're supposed to tell me. You're the smart guy. Right? I'm just a little fucking guy who's doing stuff and putting stuff together and trying it. So, the effect of figuring out, if you can't have an effect, how are you going to figure it out? And that's the reason I spent almost 4 years digging, every day. It's not one day I don't think I had never worked on that stuff. It's just you have to do the experiment to be able, because they won't tell you this, because it's a big goddamn secret. They control the world with that secret. The world of energy. They control it. They control you, they control everybody, they control me for the longest time. They still control me because I'm still hooked up to the grid. But not for long. And same thing with cars and stuff like that. Tesla never had an electric car. Why? Because the gas was not gas. The gas won't burn without the presence of nitrogen. All explosive we have, right? We think all the fuel, not explosive, but the fuel, all fuel we think we have, you remove the presence of nitrogen, you can't even light up it. You can't light up a big lighter. You can fill this room full of pure oxygen with no nitrogen inside, pure oxygen. You can't even light up a big lighter inside that room. I tested. Did the Joe cell create, what do you say, hydrogen? Bullshit. It's just fucking pure bullshit. And I create many type of gas. But if I were to create nitrogen, like real nitrogen, well, gee whiz, I wouldn't be here talking to you. Because I was filling a balloon and blowing it up with a lighter like this in the front of my face, and I was shaking the whole neighborhood. But I was safe, I didn't get killed. If it would be nitrogen, it would be a crater where I would be standing. Right? So, if we just remove the fucking bullshit of all the peoples, or the pay to put the bullshit in, and just stay away from that, you will see, you will be able to understand most of the stuff I'm talking about. But as long as you keep your head up your ass, I can't do nothing for you. And I'm sorry, but, it's like people, they come and see me, they have cancer, right? And the first thing I ask them, because I said, do you like your sugar, right? Yeah, I love my sugar. You're going to die. Sugar's a poison. White sugar's a poison. It's been proven for many years, but the sugar corporation gets such a grip on the government. They make so much money, You have to understand, the sugar costs the biggest burden to the economy of any country in the world. It creates obesity, cancer, tumor, bone disease, joint disease, respiratory disease. You name it. It's fucking poison. But it's not a poison that works fast. It's a poison that works really slow. And it's more addictive than crack, morphine, than any fucking opioid drugs in the world. And if you don't believe me, try to deal in sugar. Try to import sugar. Because I tried. And I got fucking hit, the Fed fucking hit me like a brick right away. You don't have a license to do that. You need a federal license. I said, what the heck? Federal license? Sugar. Cane sugar. Ah. It's narcotic. It's addictive. But the government makes so much fucking money, and that's how I can't stand the fucking government, because they're a fucking bunch of hypocrites. Especially the lobbyists. They killed their own fucking kid. How much hypocrite can you be? How much more hypocrite can you be when you're killing your own family with sugar so you can make a profit? Hey, give it to the human to do that. It's the only human can do that. You wouldn't see an animal doing that. You don't see any wildlife killing their young to gain. Only human does that. So, that's what I hate, human. You know, they're the biggest disease on this planet. Greed. All the greedy motherfucker out there. You know, if I could design a microbe will only attack the greedy people, fuck, I would do that all day long. It would clean up, I would say, about 85% of the population on this planet. We would have tons of land and tons of water and tons of food, right? Just by removing the fucking greed. But hey, that's beside the point. Back to the energy. Sorry I drift there, but I'm used to it. And that's my own fucking video, so I can do what the fuck I want on it, right? So now we know the sea energy exists, it's a real thing. So we need a pump, so we can pump it in. So make a fucking pump. All you gotta do is spin something between coils of copper wire, aluminum wire, stainless steel wire. Any wire who's insulated, spin a magnet between, or an induction magnet in between, and spinning in a faster, slower. You will see the volt going up, slower going, volt going down. Just like a pump. Pumps spin fast, pressure goes up. Pump spin slow, pressure go down. Right? I'm a fucking engineer. Simple fucking fact. So, there's many people out there where they're so close and so far the same thing. John, what do you pronounce his name? John Exerson, I don't know his last word. The guy who make cannonball levitate and all that stuff. Brilliant fucking man. Brilliant. He can create and manipulate effect stuff mind-blowing. But he's lacking one thing. Understanding what is manipulated. What is manipulating? That's the only lacking. If I had funding for a lab so I can put 4 or 5 people into it, he would probably be one of my first choice. I mean, he's a strange cookie, this guy. Weird on all different ways. But he's got a brilliant mind. And I would keep up with this weird stuff he does. Everybody's got their kink, right? But his mind is priceless. You know, and between what I know and me, between I know and him, and sitting down and explaining to him exactly. Hutchison, there we go. Took me a while, but I get it. John Hutchison. He lived right here in Westminster, about 45 minutes away from me. But, you know, I'm trying to bring people, you get to a point, people, you know, they're not millionaire. All the people who does research are not millionaire. Because if you're a millionaire, you don't even fucking care about that stuff, right? Nah, it doesn't bother you. It's the guy, he's the little guy who actually tried to think about, figure a way, you know, how can I have a decent life without being a slave? The guy's got the money, you know. Most of the money people have, they irritate or they just fucking just fluke up on shit. You know, that's how money is made. So, I mean, I could be all set up when I went to Australia, but no, because when I went, first thing, I didn't go to Australia, Mom. Well, I was asked, and I went. I was asked, and I went, and the lady was very nice. Her name is you know, Marilyn New, and she was very generous. I mean, she backed me up for about over a year in the research, and I did a lot of progress, but the progress was not fast enough, and she decided, no, she was gonna see somebody else or whatever, right? Whatever was a decision, that was her decision, and I respect her for that. Which she helped me a lot. She made me go forward a long distance, right? You know, and without that, I wouldn't be here talking about what I know today. So, Marilyn New, thank you very much. You always will be in my mind. And soon, I've get everything figured out and stuff like this. She will be, you know, probably the first one to get the information, and she can do whatever she wants with the information. She was a very good person, and I respect her a lot. But in the meantime, life goes on. So I had to do different tests. It took time, money, money. Everything is time and money. Because if it takes time doing that, you don't have time to do the other one, so you have to have money to live on. So it's time and money. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing it literally, you know, bit by bit, month by month, whatever I can on it, and you know, hopefully, I would say, know what I know now and stuff like this. If I don't die in the next 6 months, I should have probably something put together who actually will work properly. You will be able to tap into it, and you know, I mean, look, I modified a small motor. Actually, it was not even a motor. It was an inverter generator, which I took the drum out of it and the stator, and I modified the stator. I wouldn't even change the magnet yet, and I still have to do that. You know, I could get way more by changing the magnet, and but I just do one test at a time to see what I could get out of it. And I'm using an RC controller, a 40 volt RC controller, which puts out only 14 to 16 volt per legs. So I'm not pushing a whole lot of voltage in my motor, and I'm getting 1,000 RPM out of it, and a massive amount of torque. Like, when I mean a massive amount of torque, compared to a 20 amp, 24 volt brush, solid magnet brush motor, which is a starter, literally, is hundreds of times more, I mean hundredfold, not time, hundredfold more torques. And he runs on half an amp. Not 20, not 50, because that 20 amp motor, soon you put torque on it, right? Soon you put some resistance on the shaft, plus you can stall it with your hand. I never knew that from, I could not believe you could grab a 24 volt, a 20 amp input, and grab a rag and put over the shaft and squeeze the shaft and stall the motor. And then when you see the instrument, what that motor is drawing when you're slowing down and you're stalling it, the amp goes from 20 amp to the sky is the limit. So it's not that powerful, right? The 6-inch tiny little motor, this thick, this big, right? We only about a fifth of the other motor. You can't stall it. And when you put the torque on it, when you look at the amperage draw, right? When you put the torque on it, you only go to about 3 amp. What did that tell you? If you have a brain to figure what I just told you, what's going on here? Why we don't know this? Why we're not using this? Right? Well, I get news for all the prick out there, because that's all they are, the one who says, oh, I'm full of shit and stuff like this. I want you to go on Google, right? And Google Rolls-Royce thrusters. They move fucking 150-foot ship. The motor is around the prop. It's a goddamn drum motor. Reverse. And it's got 4 times the speed, 10 times the torque, and the reaction is instant. And no more big diesel to run that ship anymore. Couple of little generators to run that ship. And they never have a failure yet. And they've been testing it for 2 years. Rolls-Royce thruster. That's all you have to put. You can't even do it on YouTube. Rolls-Royce thruster. Right? And then there's another company who's making aircraft motor. A tiny little motor about this big, this thick. You can put on it as a, what the weight is 40 42 kilo, put it on your arm and walk away with it. 350 horse. It's a disc motor. You remember the little disc motor in some of my video? Right? It's no metal in there, it's just plastic and print coil, copper coil into it, molded into it. 350 horse. They took the motor of a Piper, put that in an electric motor, and the weight, of course, is no weight compared to the 600-pound motor. Replace that with the batteries, and that thing can take off half the length they used to take with a piston drive motor. The climb is increased by threefold, right? They have a problem with time flying because it's still putting the amp into it. I figure a way, I don't have to put the amp into it. I play with volt instead. Remember, volt, volume, that's what makes things turn. More volume of air, and the turbine, faster the turbine spin, right? It's volume. Volume is speed, rotation speed, right? So now we got that, right? So all we really have to do, I mean, the technology is out there. It's just use reverse, because everybody think about the amp makes thing move. No, the amp makes thing burn, melt, heat. That's what the amp is. Speed, torque, rotation is volt. Volume. Volume of pressure. That's all it is. You know, it's pretty straight. I mean, I can't even call that math anymore. It's just arithmetics. Zeros, you know, all the way 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. That's all the code you need. That's all you got to do is use that code to break energy. Because if you use math, you're going to be in a left field so fucking far, even GPS ain't going to fucking help you to bring you back home. And that's what most scientists are. They're walking around and their GPS can't find home no more. They're lost. So I mean, it's interesting how much we have been lied to, and how much lies been keep on going. You know, it's almost like Hillary Clinton. That bitch doesn't go away. It keep on coming with more lies constantly. Even when the truth is hitting her in the face, you keep bringing more lies, right? Those are the type of people who have to be destroyed. Or put back to their place. Way deep under. You know, you don't have to kill people to get rid of them. Just throw them in the fucking hole. Deep enough they can't come back up where they belong. You know, it's just simple as that. You know, sugar, you know, everybody can go, a kid can go and buy 10 pound of sugar, a bag of candy, like Halloween is just tomorrow. I don't see any cop stopping people giving sugar to the kid. They should, because this is fucking narcotic. It's addictive. You know, it's crazy. The hypocrisy of humanity. It's looking you in the face constantly, every time you step out the door. You know, it makes no difference. Till we decide enough is enough. You know, I don't believe this shit. I don't believe this shit because you cannot give me the fact how it works. So if you can't tell me what you're preaching, you can't tell me how it works, and you're preaching it, that means you're a goof. That's what we call goof. Fucking liars. A piece of shit. Those are the ones that get hang on underneath a bridge with piano wire. God, that was the good old day. You can actually do that in the old days. I wish I was back into the Capone's day. Life was much, much simpler in Capone's day. Because nothing lead poisoning couldn't fix. Ah, gosh, I wish I was back there. I wish I could make a machine to go back in time. You know? Anyway, geez, I was drifting here on my little my little fantasy. But hey, you have to fantasize of something because life stinks on all direction because of the lie we've been living in. So, but anyway, this is how energy is. It is a sea of energy, and you can tap into it, but you can't tap with a generator. You got to tap with a pump because it's all around you. And resonance, again, you cannot hear it. Oh, yeah. Boy, I tell you, my old age, I forgot stuff. The natural way to listen to resonance is through one of those shells. It's white noise. It sounds like white. You don't hear the sea out of that shell. Another lie. You know, just like Christmas and Halloween, another lie. But this, the material where that thing is formed, is so bloody hard that the resonance cannot transform itself into a sine wave. It has to stay in the shape of resonance. And that's why when you put that to your ear, you hear white noise. The reason it happens is a tiny little bone, about this long, from the center of that, right in the center. And it's very, 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 very thin. And the resonance hits this material, which is calcium. And since the resonance cannot convert, because it's so hard, it cannot convert itself into a sine wave, it travels from the outside all the way to that little bone there. And that little bone is sticking up, standing up all by itself. And that little bone vibrates at an extreme rate. And it creates that sound because the inside, the resonance cannot penetrate that and convert it to a sine wave. So it comes out as a hissing, very high-pitched hissing, white noise. Now, I mean, the CIA use white noise for talking. You can have a little unit. If you want to talk to a room, you think you have ears all around. You press that, you don't even hear it. You can talk, and all the microphone around will be affected by that because you're filling up the room with a massive amount of resonance, which your ear can't hear, but the microphone getting distorted. So here you go. If you want to really hear how resonance sound like, get yourself one of those. Works fine, you know. So it's just a question now of having the time, you know, and the capability and the fun to be able to start putting things together at the proper space. Resonant, you know, the way I've been doing it, and now I've been doing it and I was getting effect I didn't understand it. I had to understand the effect and truly understand it and be able to explain and break it down back to nothing. Remember, you know, my teacher when I was in school in grade 3, you know, and I was very, very strong on arithmetics. I mean, I was teaching grade 5 arithmetics and I was in grade 3. And I teach grade 5, grade 6, and grade 7. You know, number was just perfect in my head. It makes sense because I can do a calculation for 2 hours, and if I want to find out if my answer was right, all I have to do is reverse my calculation. Just reverse it. And you're supposed to come up with the same number you started. This means your whole day of work is perfect. Now you can go for the next day. You try to do that with advanced mathematics. You can't. You can't reverse advanced mathematics. Advanced mathematics is a bogus calculation. Bogus fact, bogus equation. They create, the answer doesn't get to where you want, so they create another equation to fix that equation. No, they just create a lie to make sure it covered this one, and it will promote their life. Number doesn't do that. Logic is number, but number is logic. You know, that's why a logical person cannot lie, because it's illogical to lie. I live with one. You know, she have this thing with, you know, she can't lie because it's not logical to lie. She will tell you the face. I don't care if the truth will hurt you. She'll come to your face and tell you the truth. If you, hey, you shouldn't wear that, it looks stupid, she'll come to you and you look stupid, because she can't lie. Because she's only have logic. Interesting, isn't it? So, you know, that's what I want you guys to know. I know I don't care about whatever people say. I'll put that on YouTube and vid. All my videos in vid, by the way. Everybody says I pull all my video out of the internet. Again, another lie. I didn't pull all my video, and anybody cannot find my videos because they're retarded. It's all in vid. All you have to do is go to vid and punch my name, and you'll see all my videos all in vid. I don't use I use YouTube as toilet paper because that's how this works. That's why I'm going to throw this video on YouTube. It will also be loaded up in vid. And I just want, see, I don't watch TV anymore because it's nothing good to watch anymore, and it's just a waste of time and money. So, you know, I read the comments. So I'll put my comment on and I'll leave it on just because it's entertainment to see how much intelligence is out there. Or no, let me see, how much non-intelligence is out there. I got lots of people who have intelligence, ask very good question. And I got, of course, the majority of, you know, where can I buy the stuff? Do I have a part list? Do I have a schematic? And I have that? Where can we buy it? And stuff like this, right? I mean, like, and then all the troll and all that stuff, you know, paid by whoever pays them to do that. YouTube, they have over 5,000 people paid on a payroll just to fuck people up. We all know about that, right? So that's why I'm just using YouTube as toilet paper. Or it's not right, another word, right? So, and the whole thing is, don't forget, if you change the word of an object, you make it invisible to find. And that's what all the world of science has been doing, changing and putting bogus word who means nothing, who doesn't reflect the action of anything. And they use those meaningless words just to hide everything. So here it is. Do your own research. Test your own thing. Like thousands of people around the world have been testing my stuff, and they all agree. Whoa, we do putting up a whole lot more, but they can't figure out how to manipulate that. And I couldn't figure out how to manipulate that either, to about a month and a half. So, you know, you gotta learn how to walk before you can run and jump across ditches. That's one thing I learned in life. And some take times. You know, it's sometimes you can be lucky and fluke into it, and some other time you really have to work at it to get to it. You know, it's not that always easy. So I mean, people, you know, they were saying stuff like, you know, why is it taking me so long to do this? Fuck. 150 years and people are still wondering how Tesla did it. And they go home and turn the switch on and not even ask a question how it works. That's the level of IQ we have around here. Yeah. I wish people would take tests of IQ. Not that today's IQ test is a joke. You go, you know, it's no such a thing as a loser in school anymore. Well, that bring a great civilization ahead of you, right? So I mean, like, you know, I had many IQ tests in my life through the military and through worker compensation, right? Even worker compensation says they couldn't afford to retrain me because I should be retrained as a brain surgeon or a scientist. And he said, with that kind of IQ, you don't need us to go and make a living. So, therefore, we're not going to give you nothing. Good cooperation from the government. You can't sue. You know, I went 3 times under high, because I had a back injury. I ruptured a disc at work. I fight that for 11 years, 3 times up to the top of that hill, win every time, 3 times, go down, and they tell me, fuck you, we're never going to pay you. So you can't sue them. What kind of insurance is that? It's just like ICBC. You can't sue ICBC. It's the only insurance you can buy. They have the monopoly. We're living in a world of slave again. Right? So, but anyway, I don't want to make that a 2-hour video, but the people who are interested, all they have to do is duplicate what I made. And there's enough video out there to duplicate. Go in Vib, you'll find all my video. If you cannot duplicate with all the video I made, if you can't duplicate what I did, please, just go watch TV. Right? Go back to your soap opera. Because you're not going to live long enough to be able to understand. So don't try. Right? I mean, like, you know, I know trying is a good thing and you can't beat people for trying. But you have to have a result in the end. You can't just try all your life and have no result in the end. That would be a waste of life, isn't it? So do what you're capable to do. If you're not mechanically in mind, if you don't understand mechanically, if you cannot change your flat tire, do not try to do that. Just let somebody else is going to come up with it and just buy it from it. Like the rest of the people. Right? It's just different people, different jig, right? That's all it is. So I hope that will, you know, I like you. It will probably piss people off, which I'm perfectly content with that. It will probably, you know, inspire somebody, right? But I know one thing for sure I accomplished in my 4 years is to prove the world that the world is made of ballless people, cowards. Because, see, I'm still talking. I should be fucking dead by now. If I would have had someone who was talking to me about me directly, I would have found that motherfucker. Believe me, he wouldn't be walking anymore. And he would be, I wouldn't kill him. Because killing is too easy. But he wouldn't be walking, and he would be eating solid anymore. He would be sucking through a straw, and he would be talking through a straw. Just so he can live the rest of his life thinking how fuck up he is. But that's just me, right? Or that's just 6 million people like me. On that note, you folks, you decide what you want to do. You know, take it with you. So, you guys all have a good day. It's beautiful Sunday here. It's gorgeous out there. And I'm going to go and enjoy some this afternoon. So, you guys have a good day.